second. I gotta talk to my dog.
Settle that dog down.
Yeah. I'm a what?
Oh, here, Chuck.
All right, well, when he gets back, we're live now, so we'll see if any stragglers come in the comments.
Cool.
I told anyone in the comments, well, I told people on Twitter if they leave us a question to ask in the comments, I'll give them an NFT, so hopefully that incentivizes some people.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
All right, Cody, we're live. You ready?
Yes, sir.
On Twitter, if they leave us a question to ask in the comments.
Oh, I hear an echo.
Hopefully that incentivizes people.
Hold on, I'm gonna put my headphones in here. Let's.
Hey.
Ready? Yes, sir.
We have kind of a surreal audio mix going on here.
Alrighty, not sure if anyone's watching yet, but we're here with Bradon Lovejoy, the OIG candidate. So I guess just tell your story of how you got into crypto, etc. How you got into wax.
Yeah. I'm getting a big loop of audio coming at me here. But I'll just start talking. Hopefully you can hear me all right.
Yeah, you're good on my side.
Yeah, so I got involved crypto quite a while ago now. Really the first project that I jumped into was BitShares. And
Still getting a little bit of a loop.
yeah, this loop is really messing with my head. It's hard to talk when I'm listening to myself talk about 5 seconds later.
Not sure what to do.
Do we have something else going that is?
Dylan, do you have the video playing possibly in the background or something?
Yeah, let me check. I don't know. I don't have anything on my side, I don't think.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself and let's see if it goes away.
It could have been me too. I just killed my browser, which may have had a YouTube link up. So sounds good now, though.
All right, perfect. All right, so
Okay.
yeah. So Brandon, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got introduced to the crypto space, and then wax OIG.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my background is pretty multimedia. I started off in the visual arts, kind of ended up in film production, did radio and television broadcasting for a while. Really early, I'm 44, so I kind of got into the internet in the early days and dove into Linux and just, I never studied computer science, but I just found it really fascinating and dove into open source projects and all that from an early age. But yeah, mostly my focus has been on media and communications and writing. And as far as crypto goes, I jumped in the early days of BitShares and really got fascinated by that project and became a big fan of Dan Larimer and the work that he was advancing with BitShares. And the community was really cool and all sorts of amazing discussions were had and just felt like home for a while. So I jumped in as a block producer on the BitShares network and did that for a while. And then I kind of backed out of being more on the technical side and tried to focus on communications again. So I was kind of part of a duo that ran a node on the BitShares network. Yeah, we road trip down to Virginia and met Larimer and the BitShares crew. That was kind of the highlight of that that time there. That was in April of 2015. And I've kind of just been in the space ever since, following from BitShares to Steam blockchain, and then EOS IO suite of sister chains that have emerged so far. So it's been just kind of down the rabbit hole, and I'm still in it. So, and then how I got to Wax, I mean, I think Wax just carved out such a really great niche for itself right out of the gate. I think we were all kind of looking for a blockchain that was focused on NFTs and could kind of show us what EOSIO could do apart from a completely general purpose implementation. And yeah, I've just been really impressed with what I've seen with Wax so far, and the way that governance has evolved. So yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah, definitely. I noticed the one thing about Wax that I can say is definitely different from other ecosystems is there seems to be, for whatever reason, a lot less tribalism, I would say. Like
For
when
sure.
it comes to EOS, for example, everybody sort of looks at it as like an Ethereum killer. But when it comes to Wax, I feel like everybody's just kind of more open-minded and just wants to contribute towards a better, more fair governed system. So is there anything that in particular that you like that Wax governance has achieved? And is there anything that you personally would like to see furthered or changed?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Office of the Inspector General is a really interesting development in governance within like DPoS blockchains. With EOS, there was an attempt at a constitution, which got a little expansive, and ultimately, was everyone kind of retreated to the code is law sort of perspective and took more of a hands-off approach after some sticky situations with ECAF and various other things. I think there needs to be some balance struck between purely like objective world in DPoS and the more subjective or qualitative viewpoints that invariably like the token holders need to express. And so the Office of the Inspector General is kind of interesting because it puts itself, or it's been developed to be kind of this intermediate office that can help really set the direction for development and provide, good incentives. I view it as kind of like training wheels for this evolution that's happening in governance. I don't see it as fixed. I see it as kind of like a point on a bigger arc of governance development on Wax. So interested to see how it evolves over time. I don't know if I answered everything you asked, but.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think that's kind of how I look at it too. Decentralization is a goal ultimately. So I think the most important thing that OIG can do is have that goal in mind. Always be looking to increase decentralization as well as listen to the community. So that's definitely, that was definitely answering my question. So,
So you're not part of a Wax guild right now, right? Is that correct?
Right, yeah, I'm not a part of any Wax guild. I used to work for EOS Detroit as director of communications, but I stepped away from that role about a year before Wax launched. I think it was, or at least a year before EOS Detroit got involved.
So if a guild were to win the OIG, what do you think they should do? Just a theoretical question.
If a guild, say that again?
Like an existing guild became the OIG, do you think they should be in the top 21, or do you have an opinion on that?
You mean if somebody was in the OIG that was also part of a guild?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, generally, I don't think that's a good idea. I think I don't. I feel like some sort of separation of powers there. Some
Right.
removing any conflict of interest is a pretty wise move. I don't see any um, reason to combine those two functions. It seems like kind of a glaring. Seems like a messy situation kind of waiting to happen. So.
Yeah, I agree. I was talking to Sukesh, another OIG candidate, but we both came to terms, or we all came to terms that I think either standby or something like that is probably a good idea. There's too much bias, especially in crypto right now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like anyone would be able to do the job, and people would be able to trust the office more, and
Right.
it would just be better all around for everybody. Yeah, I saw the interview with Sukesh, and I appreciate that position of being willing to roll back to standby or to just not even be involved temporarily during that time. So.
All right. So if you were to be elected to the OIG, what is something that you would personally look for in terms of awarding points to guilds, to wax guilds?
Yeah, I mean, above the existing criteria, I mean, I just think that the OIG has an opportunity to kind of help incentivize guilds to really go above and beyond and try and solve some of the problems that are facing the network and move the network forward, build products that help with network adoption would be really valuable thing. And communication with the community, I think, is another area that would be really helpful to see from the guilds. I think with the idea that wax will, evolve towards a more decentralized governance structure than it has right now. The token holders and really communities having each guild be actively working on building communities is really important, and that's part of the beauty of the OIG is it's an opportunity to educate people about DPoS governance before we're completely out there on our own, because we've seen that not go so well in other contexts, and this the OIG kind of provides this middle ground, which is nice. So yeah, I just want to see people lead by example, and it's a great I love how the guilds can kind of all find their own niche, and like really just own certain things, or see a problem that needs to be solved and just step up and solve it. And I think that's the best way to distinguish yourself.
Right, definitely. One thing for me is I like since Wax is known as the blockchain for the king of NFTs, I like the when guilds manage to creatively use NFTs in order to market the ecosystem. So with the Spicy Rares, for example, what EOS Nation was doing, I thought that was very clever. And we are part of a Wax guild, and we're working on ways that we can use NFTs to not only show people what we can do on the chain, but also show people the power of NFTs and ultimately the power of Wax. Is there any projects that are interesting for you that stand out on Wax?
Yeah. I mean, there's so much going on in the Wax ecosystem. It's kind of hard to track it all.
Honestly.
And I don't want to single out too many different projects that. But I will say that one of the coolest projects that I've seen is, and now I'm totally drawing a blank. Right, and I knew I would. The huh?
Is it a game?
No, I mean it's the charitable giving project that's M Blue, and I'm spacing on the name. It's like Nation something Nation. Um, Damn it.
Uplift Nation.
Uplift Nation.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really like. I mean, my just my bias is towards projects that are working on social good, and I just think that's a really cool, like, unexpected use of NFTs, and and I would love to see more kind of outside of the box uses of NFTs. Um, Other than that, I think just the ability to make NFTs has been really my
Like
brain is just
Atomic Hub, right? Like Atomic
Atomic
Hub.
Hub. Thank you, and
Atomic
simple
Hub.
assets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like I was playing around thinking about making some NFTs. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I just love how easy that whole process looks. And really, like, without going into all the separate projects, just the Wax Cloud Wallet is a huge advantage that Wax has that I don't think any other USIO chain really has, which is just such a easy to use kind of custodial wallet where you don't have to worry about managing keys and you can just jump right in.
Yeah, I love that wallet. It's so easy. Like
Yeah.
to get like my girlfriend or my brother or whatever to use crypto, like I just recommend that every time, pretty much.
Yeah, it's just as somebody that's struggled for years trying to introduce people to crypto, it's just such a relief to.
Oh, man, like, for real.
It's a very easy inroad there.
All right, so we actually have a question in the chat. So, Epic Wild Gaming, which I'm pretty sure is Nick, he says, if you have looked over the current OIG guidelines, is there anything you would specifically change?
Yeah, I've looked over the guidelines for scoring guilds. I guess I don't really have a specific agenda for changing stuff right off the bat. Like, it's not. I guess my MO with a project like this is not to like bring in some sort of agenda, but to take a long look at how things are actually working currently, and that would probably be more of a process with the current IGs, and to really listen to the community and see what the friction points are and the guilds and the other candidates that are running also have all raised specific things that they want to see changed. I think because they've been inspired to run for IG and specifically have certain issues that they want to see addressed, I think it's worth looking at those things. So I guess what I would hope to bring to the office rather than a particular agenda is the ability to listen to feedback from a really wide array of different sources, community, guilds, Wax themselves, whomever, and try to resolve as many of those as possible. So, yeah, it's hard for me to, as somebody that hasn't participated in a guild on Wax, although I've been part of, EOS chain, EOS block producer and BitShares. I guess I'm not as familiar with what some of the pain points are currently being experienced by guilds. So you could look at that as kind of in one sense, like a drawback of my candidacy, but in another sense, I think I just bring a fresh set of eyes and an unbiased perspective, because I'm not coming in with any like real strong agenda for what to change.
Definitely. I wanted to ask if you had any experience using
during an interview.
DeFi becoming a bigger and bigger thing. It continues to suck up market share, and now it's coming to wax. How do you feel about that? And do you predict there could be any sort of pain points from that integration that are unexpected?
Yeah, so I mean, one could say that BitShares was the very first DeFi. So in that sense, I was right there at ground zero, although it wasn't nearly as sophisticated in some respects as what we're seeing today. Bancor, again, is another project that I've followed since the beginning. I'm a big fan of Bancor and everything that they've been doing, and Bancor 2.1 recently coming out. And yeah, just trying to wrap my brain around some of the math there. Always like pushes.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing.
Yeah. When you spend late nights trying to like contemplate impermanent loss, it's time to go to bed. Yeah, and as far as DeFi on Wax, I guess I have to say I'm just not. I've looked a little bit at what's going on there, but I don't really have enough information yet. I feel like to express an actual informed opinion. I think in principle it's great. I guess if it doesn't dilute the core kind of one thing I like about Wax is it seems to know what it is, and Wax seems to be focused very firmly on NFTs and all these different marketplaces, and the communities are so cool, and it's just it has an identity, and DeFi being such a new phenomenon, not new, but like kind of like the hot phenomena right now that's sweeping around, like, I guess, and it's not up to me to decide whether it happens or not. Of course, it's just going to do what it wants to do, or people are going to like do DeFi and Wax if that's what they do. But I guess to the extent that it contributes to like the good thing, then I'm all for it. But it's just kind of like hey, we got to do this thing too. Like that never works well for projects when you just start adding things because you don't want to miss out on some trend, So yeah, could work, could be cool. I mean, especially if it contributes to liquidity and such things on the chain, that'd be great.
We got another comment down below here.
Yeah, go ahead.
What improvements can Wax make in your opinion? Somebody asked. Also, before you answer, I want to say we're giving NFTs away to anyone that asks a question for those of you watching, so feel free to shout one out if you're watching.
What improvements can Wax make? Well, again, I feel like I'm kind of coming into, like, I'm old in the space and kind of young at Wax. I've been paying attention to Wax since the beginning, but I can't say I've been super duper active. So I don't want to be offering prescriptions for improvements, but one area I'll talk to is governance, I guess. I feel like from what I've been able to observe so far, the governance on Wax, and just the communication between the OIG and the guilds and the guilds and the communities could be improved. I would love to see more from the Wax team about what their kind of long range vision is with regards to that.
It's so early right now. It's like hard to.
It's so early, yeah. I mean, and it's just such a cool project, and like I said, it's just got an identity and a really strong team, and like the Wax team themselves and the people on the advisory board are solid, and it's just it's a recipe for success. It's just it's in a very kind of early stage of development. So I'm not trying to be like a bull in a china shop, just trying to like come in and shout out about all the tell people to rearrange their furniture, you know.
So bouncing off the advisory board thing, do you think it's like a good thing or a bad thing that those people are in the advisory board? Do you think they're going to become block producers?
That's a good question. I mean, that's a big unknown. I mean, we just saw Google Cloud come in on the EOS and state their intention to spin up a block producer node. And yeah, who knows where that ends? I mean, as somebody that comes from kind of a scrappy startup block producer, EOS Detroit, and somebody that, you know, I really appreciate the decentralized and, you know, nature of block producers, and I'd like for there to be more of like I view block producers as like little community startups, little community incubators, and when they get replaced by, if they get replaced by just like all these massive corporate entities, I'll be a little sad.
Right.
But you know, that doesn't mean that it would be the end of, you know, small scale block producers that were doing really cool community incubator projects. It just, they might have to migrate to other chains, you know, or hopefully gain a lot of resources in the process of being acquired or something like that. So I have no idea. Hopefully we can strike a balance, because you know, I think these big players are good for the long-term viability of the network. I just don't want to lose the small town feeling that you kind of get at the same time, and the ability to I don't know, would you rather interact with, you know, would you rather go to a camp?
Oh, you're lagging a little bit.
Like a town hall at a pub in Dublin, you know? So it's like, yeah.
So yeah, definitely WAX right now is a relatively small community. They're doing a lot of things well. We can all agree on that. Where do you see personally in the next 6 months to a year the WAX ecosystem going?
Yeah, man, well, I just saw a tweet about all the different projects that are going to be launching in just the next 4 months alone, and it's pretty staggering. You know, Dark Country and like a few games coming online, and then just a whole. Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see an explosion of development on WAX, and I'm particularly excited about these teases from Street Fighter and Capcom and things of that nature. So, I mean, I've been in this space for so long, I kind of try not to get too worked up, because, you know, you end up waiting with your knuckles white. We're just hanging on, hoping for the big breakthrough to come. But I see big partnerships like in the works, and what that means for gaming. I think we have to be patient. 6 months is still a little early, I think, for a lot of this. We're not going to see. I've watched some of William Quigley's Wax On videos, which I really like a lot, and you know, he's also sounding that kind of somewhat conservative tone in terms of, you know, how soon we're going to see in-game NFTs on these major platforms, and I think as fired up as we are, and as much potential as we see, it may be more like a year and a half to 2 years before we really start to see this widespread usage of the wax blockchain in all these different kind of legacy game environments and stuff like that. But I think it's coming. I think it's inevitable. And like I said, the advisory council is filled with kind of who's who of some legendary ventures. So I don't think they're there for their entertainment. So I think we'll see some pretty impressive developments.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely, just as a community member, am excited to see what the Wax ecosystem can bring in terms of the games, because NFTs are obviously going to continue to be the thing that drives the ecosystem, but the fact that they can then partner and sort of work together with these games to give these NFTs these unique abilities, I can't wait to see how that turns out. And I think honestly, the OIG is going to play a big role in also sort of setting guidelines that need to be set early on, because like you said, we still are very early.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other questions that you had, Dylan? Because I see the timer up there at the top.
Yeah, I haven't upgraded my Zoom yet. So we got 5 minutes left. I mean, everything I had on my phone here has pretty much been asked. So if you want to give out a shout out to your proposal or anything like that?
Yeah. Well, I just I'm happy to be considered by the Wax community for OIG, and it would be a great experience. I think I could bring a lot of unique perspective to the office and communication skills that it may not have had in the past. And it's a very tech dominated world, and it's nice to have a fresh set of eyes, somebody that's a bit of a hybrid, instead of just focused on the code all the time. So yeah, I'd like the opportunity to help evolve the OIG and tweak the incentives to create like a more robust communities and evolve governance on Wax. And
so you have a Voice article with some more information if people want to check that out, right?
My honor. Yeah, I posted my announcement on Voice. I'm sure y'all could pop that link in the description. I'm just at Lovejoy pretty much everywhere except Twitter. I'm at Bradon Lovejoy, and so you can find my proposal there. You know where to go to vote, probably, if you're watching this. If not, it's oig.wax.io/candidates. I think I got that right. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming on.
Learned a lot. Good luck, brother.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you so much.
See you guys.
Appreciate it.
See ya.
Have a good one.